Hello everyone. In this video, we will continue with our inline and block HTML element and display CSS property. So let's see an example, an implementation, how we can do that. So let's create one div section for inline to align the inline or see the inline element. So here I will give a name class called inline, and then I will go to create some anchor tags hash, and let's say it's link 1, and I will duplicate this 2 3, let's one more add 4. So here we have 4 links, as you can see here, as the browser sync is connected. So here link 1, link 2, link 3, link 4. So let's apply some CSS on these links and the style sheet. So this is our style sheet, and we have an inline class in which we are going to modify the anchor tag. So here first of all I will remove the underline by using text decoration property. Then next I will increase the font size, so that will be font f1 size. Then let's say it will be 20px. Okay, I will make it big, 23px. Okay, now as you can see, the inline is the class inline is applied on div tag, which is a block level element. So I will give a background for that element, background color. So let's say this will be a green color, and by using this editor I will modify a little bit till something like this. Yeah, so this will be the background green color. Now let's change the color of the text, not here, just I will add it here, then shift it shift it here. So now the link color will be this. Now I will add a padding, that will be 10px. So as you can see, the padding is added, but the padding from the left and right side it's visible, as you can see, but from the top and bottom it's not visible. So to understand why it is not visible, I'm going to put one border around it on those anchor tag 1px solid black. So here you can see the border around those elements. This is getting outside of it. So to overcome that, we have two ways. Like you can use overflow auto, so that it will adjust it accordingly. So here it will trim it, so we don't want that. And another way is to hide is we can convert this anchor inline element into inline block element. So convert this inline element into inline block element. Now it will occupy the width and height as per its parent. So here you can see we have the width and height as per its parent, so it's covering all the background space. Now I will just hide this border from here, so you can see the link will be like this. Now I want that it should behave like a menu, so I will add a link inline, then anchor, I will add over here. So whenever we are going to move a pointer on that link, so the background color will be changed into, let's say, black, or we can set it to white, and color of the text we will change it to black. Okay, so if we move cursor on those link, you can see how it's behaved. Okay, that's why we are using this. Now let's add one more element here. So this is for inline example. Now let's add another comment over here. This is for block example. Then for the block element, again I will create a div and I will give a name class called block. Okay. Then next I'm going to add some here paragraph tag, which is a block element. Okay. So let's say text 1 and let's duplicate 2, 3 and 4. So here you can see we have added text 1, text 2 and text 3. Now if we apply the CSS on those block level elements, so block element CSS, it's always good to have a comment. Now next for dot block element, which is a paragraph tag, I'm going to add a border. First the border, so it will show us how the block element look solid, and let's say red. So here you can see it will occupy the complete width, and the elements are aligned vertically one after another. So let me add some padding, 5px from all the direction, and increase the font size to 20px. So you can see how the elements change. So this is how the black block elements look like. Now as you know that we can have this is the block element and these are the inline elements. So in the same way, if we are going to convert this element into inline, so to convert those we have to use display property and inline. Now it will convert those elements into inline, and this is how they will behave like. So let add some margin, not on paragraph. I will add a margin on block. So block and have a margin from top 10px. So it will get shifted below. Yeah. So this is how they look like. Okay. Then next we have converted from inline to block and block to inline. Then let's have some inline block element. So how inline block elements? Before that, we'll see how the display none will work. So I will add one more class for this B. Let's say for T3, there is a class called B. Okay. Then in our CSS, if we go and add a display property, which will override the previous one. So if I say display none, so T3 elements get hidden completely. But if I move the CSS up, so this is the CSS which is applied later, and here you can see this is the block level CSS, and inside this these are the level of CSS, so there will be no effect. Okay, so here again the display is added, and as we have not changed it, so if we change it here, still it's going to display text T3. Why? Because we have added one display none here, then again we have added display inline, so it will override this property and it's not get in effect. So to make it in effect, we will declare it outside this after this, outside this, and as you can see here, uh, yeah, those got hidden, and again if we do that, then those are the inline element, and after that we are applying the property, so it's not does not making any effect. So to understand this, right click on this, go to inspect element, and here you can see how this element will behave. So if we go and go to this T3, so it will give us the CSS of T3 here. So first of all, we have added block P property, which is display inline, and it is in effect. Okay, after that we have added a property on B. So B is for that inline element, and this directly on that particular element. So the class property will not make any change over it, because we have applied the property on the paragraph element, and here we have given a property class, separate class, which the browser discarded. So here again the paragraph has a block element. Now it's get not in effect, and these are the default margin of the blocks. Okay, so that's why it's not in the effect. So if I remove this display, this will come into effect, and you can see here this will come into effect, and this display inline is not over there. So if again I refresh, so yeah, display inline is not in that paragraph, so it will be in effect. So like to have another example for inline block. So for the inline block, let's come to our HTML part. Here I'm going to add one div. Okay, then in div I will like some text are important if they are highlighted. Okay, so it's highlighted. Better we will give a name mark if they are marked. Okay, so let's continue. Some tags are important if they are marked. So I want that this important come inside a span tag. So I will add the span tag here. Okay, and inside that I have added this. For this div, as there is no all the divs have, and this is the last div, so we'll use pseudo element to mention that div. So div, and it should be our last child. So let's add a font size first and make it 30px. So yeah, it's going to affect only on the last div element, as we have preferred the pseudo element. So this is the last child on which we are making the effects. Now inside this div last child element, I'm going to define the span tag css last child and the span on that last child. So here if I put a border 1px and solid, and let's say color will be green. So here you can see the style is added on that element, and if we say height, so it is the inline, it's not an inline, we have to convert. Yeah, before that I will show you what will the effect if we are going to add a height, as there is no effect. But if we change the display of this span tag to inline block, then how it's start behaving. So we have added a 40px, let me change it to 100px. So here you can see how the elements get added. Okay, so that's it for this session. If we want to change to another css, then we can have like this. So here we have discussed how we can add, how we can set the margin, how we can align the contents, and how we are going to set it differently. So that's it for the session.